hate you.
I know.
I'm going to say that it was awful after it happens.
Okay.
That will be part of the podcast. It's like, well, that was awful.
Well, it could be great. Let's find out. Get the record started, Andrew. Let's see where this goes.
All right, drum roll. In 3, 2, 1. Yahoo!
Yahoo!
And welcome to the Advent 7 podcast. I am your host, Andrew, and I'm joined by...
Synergistic Management's Trey.
Oh, I'm just Spencer. No, there's no synergy here.
Yeah, we don't need any of the synergistic management solutions in our area. We're not a mattress company. Gosh, that character always kills me. Whenever I see the hand gestures, I just remember my office job working for a broadcast company, and all of our meetings were always like that. It was something else. But welcome to our podcast. Today we are going to be recapping episode 5 of My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU Climax. But first, plugs. First of all, thank you to everyone for tuning in to our podcast today. It means a lot to us that you're taking the time to listen to us talk about shows that we like and us make lots of really, really dumb jokes. If you've been keeping up with the show so far but haven't heard our previous recap podcasts yet, please check them out. There are links in the description below. And for all the latest news and content on anime, video games, and comics, please follow us on Twitter at Advent_7, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website, advent7.com, for more of our content. Okay, and with that out of the way, on with the podcast. Boys, how are you feeling?
Doing all right.
How did this episode make you feel in your soul? In the depths of your soul?
I don't know about soul, but I feel like they're cheating a bit.
How so?
What?
Just Yukino and Hachiman.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. You're kind of cheating a little bit, but you're gonna do some stuff. Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that, but you're right. They definitely are kind of. Look, they're making this situation work in their favor, which is fair because Yukino's mom is also cheating on them. I mean, cheating against them.
Cheating against them.
Shit. Yeah, well, for me, I got a real extra kick in the nuts from the get-go with this episode because the first scene that we see, the quote-unquote rewatch scene that every episode starts off with from the prior episode, this time it was the scene with Yui. We had to see that again because fuck us, right?
All I could do was laugh at Andrew's pain.
Oh man, I almost fell out of my chair. I think I did fall out of my chair.
You got up and you dropped to your knees, and I'm just laughing because it's like, oh god, he's in so much pain.
It's not fair. Why do I have to see that so soon? It's too soon after what happened. Ugh.
What rewatch scene are you talking about?
It was just replaying the end of the previous episode.
Oh, when she was seeing him off. Okay, I'm just like, They didn't show her crying again. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, but we still saw
the part where she ran away.
The presence of the scene alone was enough to make me cringe.
That wasn't cringe. That was defeat.
Okay, yeah, same thing.
All right, so moving on from Andrew's pain, we go into the main office with Karutsuka and talking about what's going on.
They basically are just saying, like, okay, yeah, you need to do some work here. Yukino's not probably going to want you to help, and I'm not sure that that you should help her because it's like a trial that she set up for herself. That she needs to overcome what she feels like. Mm-hmm.
And she had said that she wanted to do this alone. You know, Hiratsuka straight up tells Hikigaya, remember, she told you no. She said she wanted to do this alone. And knowing that, you still want to help her? Is that it?
And he's like, yeah, I'm totally going to do this. But he also comments on how if this backfires, this is going to come back on her somehow. Because she's at the bottom rung of the bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. And she's just all nonchalant, like, yeah, I was gonna lose the job anyway, so it's fine. It's fine.
Have they really confirmed whether or not she's losing the job? Like, I feel like as far
I don't
as
think
we
they've
know,
straight up said
she's playing
what's
very
going
fast
on with
and loose
her.
with this.
Like, I think the implication is that, like, she's moving to, like, a different school or something at the very least.
she mentioned
And that
something
if
about
some
transfer.
stuff goes wrong with this, that she could just be straight up fired.
Mm-hmm.
But,
She was slacking earlier in that one scene, so I guess that was kind of the tip-off that maybe the other teachers don't like her that much, and they've been trying to get her fired for a while, which sucks because she's clearly the best teacher that they have in the school. She's the only teacher we ever get to see do anything at that school.
We don't care about the teachers.
Importance.
She's the only one that matters because she is the true waifu.
I mean, yes.
Oh, God.
As long as we marry her. As long as we're there to take care of her, it's fine.
That scene was just like, take me. And it's like, this doesn't feel right.
Hikagai even says, like, this isn't going to work. You don't want me to be the one who takes you. This isn't how it goes. I am too young for you.
I'm just confused, like, why? It's like, she's been a troll in the past, but this was just like a little bit more of a heightened level than what I've seen from what I remember of Hirutsuka.
It's a stressful situation.
I'm not convinced it's trolling. I'm pretty sure she's just so desperate she'll take anybody. Trey, this is your moment. Trey,
this is my moment.
Move to Japan. Go claim your bride.
No, I just got to learn how to
move to Japan and then jump inside a TV.
I don't have to go to Japan. I just have to jump through the TV, through the internet, find a way to get into the light novel. It's a multi-step process, but I think I can handle it.
This is like Channel Chasers from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yep.
Going through all the different animes to find the right one.
Yep. Just got to mix Channel Chasers with Information Stupor Highway, and we'll be good.
Oh gosh, yeah. So that happened.
It's also some fun callbacks during that interaction. First with the Max's coffee. She tried to give him black coffee. He was like, "No, you know what I want."
He just shakes his head. He just fucking shakes his head. That's all he needs.
You know what I desire. I want the other one.
Gives him the Max's coffee.
Yeah.
And then
still confused by his obsession with Max's coffee. That still came out of left field for me.
Branding. It's all branding.
It's all branding.
I told Trey that they should just get Max's Coffee to sponsor the prom, and they'll make so much money that the school will let them do whatever the fuck they want. The PTO doesn't matter anymore by that point.
Yeah.
Got that good coffee brand money.
Are you saying that you want to turn the school into a business?
It's like, this isn't America, Andrew. This is Japan.
Hey man, they don't have a lot of money for this whole event. They're digging out of the very meager student council budget, so I think it's a good idea. I think it's very clever. It's a very Iroha idea.
But also there was a callback for an interaction with Hirutsuka and Hiki because she tried to punch him again. It's like, callback to the first season of how she almost decked him a couple times.
Yeah, she showed her aggressive side again. It really does make me want to go check out the light novel. I'm probably going to pick up at least the first volume by the end of this podcast because, there's got to be more of her in the book.
There's got to be more of a lot of characters in the book.
We might see we might see some more consistency in the characters in the book as well. Maybe. I'm just going on a very hopeful limb here. I'm sure light novel readers are listening to this and they're laughing at me right now.
Now, the joke is that all the side characters that we never see in the anime are all just anime-only characters. So
Okay, that would be pure evil. I would sooner burn my copy if that's what it turned out to be. Try to just wipe my memory of that ever being a thing. Be like, nope, the characters were always there, obviously. This is an anime original show. There was no book.
So after the conversation with Hirutsuka, we move on to Iroha.
Oh, hold up. Before we move on too far, I just want to go into the actual meat of the conversation that Hirutsuka and Hikigaya had. What did Hikigaya tell Hirutsuka when she asked him why he wants to help, because she did ask him that.
Didn't he just say it was because he needed to save her? He promised to save her? Or was it?
I think that was later. I'm looking through my notes here to try and remember what he did say to her. He does. Okay, so Hiratsuka does tell him that she's not sure if simply helping Yukino is the right thing to do, because Yukino had already gone out on record to say that she didn't want help from Hikigaya or Yui or really anybody else. And in rebuttal to that, Hikigaya tells her, if you're referring to our relationship and, you know, the dynamic between us, I don't think codependency is the right word for our relationship. So Hikigaya still seems like iffy on that concept. We talked about it last podcast where it made sense to us that codependency is definitely what's going on there, but Hikigaya clearly feels like there's more to it than that. He's not ready to accept the answer that it is actually codependency, and maybe it's something else. I think that it's mostly codependency, and we all know that he loves her. But maybe he's leaning more towards the love aspect, and he just can't put it into words, which is why he thinks that codependency is not the right word for the relationship. He knows there's something else there. He just can't articulate it at the moment.
In all honesty, that the whole conversation with Hiratsuka was a shotgun for how fast the text was going across the screen. I could barely finish a sentence before they moved on.
Yeah, I was having a hard time too keeping up with that. I had to rewatch the episode a couple times after Trey and I watched it together because there was a lot happening there. What Hiratsuka also says to Hikigaya in that conversation is, what matters is how you interact with her. That was cool. I liked that. You know, that was a very good thing to note, because Yukino is clearly very stubborn about this. She needs to do it alone, but it's not going to work if she does it alone, at least in Hikigaya's mind. So he's got to convince her to let him help, but he can't just say the word help. He can't just use that in the conversation, because as soon as she hears the H word, she's not going to want him there. So he's got to figure out the right way to approach her about this situation so he can do what he feels like he needs to do.
I think it goes even a little bit further than that. I think her whole thing about it matters how you interact with her. That means that the solution that he comes up with is also going to matter in the long run. He can't necessarily take the solutions that he's come up in the past. Like, he really needs to think, okay, how is this going to affect Yukino?
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's very important. Because this is going to affect her in the long run. This whole prom planning thing is for her future. You know, it's supposed to give her a good footing to argue further with her parents about what she really wants to do. One more thing is that Hikigaya hears from Hiratsuka what the school intends to do. She basically confirms that the school wants to dissuade the student council from going through with the prom. But Hikigaya says they only want us to, quote unquote, voluntarily refrain from the prom, right? And Hiratsuka confirms that. So that means that there is a chance the school won't outright cancel the prom. You know, they're just going to really pressure the student council to cancel it. So it's not fully canceled. There is a chance of success, but it does mean that, you know, Hikigaya, Yukino, Iraha, they're going to have to really fight back for it.
You gotta fight for your right to party!
Let's see. So, okay, I just wanted to tackle those few points real quick, just discuss those, because those matter later on in this episode.
Those are the really big points.
What?
Those are the big points. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Because that conversation that Hiratsuka and Hikigaya have, that sets Hikigaya's mentality for how to approach the next two conversations he has in this episode. So let's move on to the next one. Trey, I'll let you take it away and go over what happens after Hikigai talks with the teacher.
All right, so yeah, we move on to him heading towards the student council room. He is met by Iroha, and she's playing amazing defense on that door. She's just like, "What are you gonna say? No, I need to. You're not going in there because you're not supposed to be here to help. This is a student council matter." Mm-hmm. But after that, they walk further down the hall so she can get a straight answer out of him for how this is all going to work out.
They don't just walk. She straight up grabs him by the arm. She's like, no. You ain't going in there until we talk about this. Like, she straight up cock blocks him. Like, totally stands in his way and diverts him into a different direction. She's like, you haven't earned the right to go in there yet. You're going to prove to me first.
Yeah, so they go down into, I guess, a student square, a commons area, kind of, and sit down in front of a lovely sunset and discuss how Hiki's going to, what he plans to do and how he plans to say things. And this conversation is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like the bulk of it always definitely comes down to, why do you want to help Hiki? We need an answer. And he gives an answer that I don't agree with.
Yeah, but me neither.
His answer is that he wants to that somehow this is all his responsibility and that he wants to take responsibility for it. And I'm just like,
really?
Why?
Yeah.
Spencer, what do you think about that?
I was a little bit confused by it. I think he was once again kind of beating around the bush, not really saying what he means. Like, he's trying to come up with ways of putting stuff without, like, going into, like, a confession of sorts, because I don't really even think he knows entirely what his feelings are either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he thinks it's there, he wants it to be there, but he doesn't know if he can take things that far.
Right. He's still grappling with his own emotions, so he can't put it into proper answers. But at the same time, he's being confronted by everyone close to him, and they're all like, dude, you gotta give an answer. There's no more time left to really deliberate on this. You can't just do the usual route of deliberate on your actions and hope that you're interpreted correctly. You gotta say it this time. Even if they know why he wants to help, they need to hear it directly because it shows conviction. Like, there is no more room for messing around. This is, like, I don't want to call it the final boss of the show because there's 7 more episodes after this, but, like, we're getting towards the end here. He's not going to accomplish anything unless he finally takes that step. That actually reminds me of the famous line from Fooly Cooley, nothing happens until you swing the bat. So he can hope that he's going to be interpreted right, but yeah.
Well, and even Iroha is just kind of like, so Hachiman is just like, it should be easy enough to say and all. It's just a matter of whether or not it gets through to her. And Iroha's just like, you guys are such a pain. Like, she's just kind of like mentally rubbing her head, just like, oh, this is just, I understand what's going on here, but this is just such a roundabout way. It's such a pain.
It's like, all three of you are so frustrating. I don't know why I keep calling on you.
They are. They really are. They make everything more complicated. This probably wouldn't have been a problem, just probably, if Iroha hadn't invited Yukino to help. If Yukino had nothing to do with it, maybe it would have slid by.
Well, then we wouldn't have plot.
Oh, totally. Like, I'm enjoying everything that's happening. Just saying that Iriha might have screwed up by asking them for help. Just throwing that out there as a possibility.
Oh yeah, no, she totally messed up by asking them. It's like, this is why we have plot. When the Service Club is involved, we are going to have drama.
The three of them have so much baggage.
I think she still need their help with getting the prom going anyway, because it was a whole new thing. Like they were going to get involved anyway.
That's true. They would have helped in some way or another simply because they're there.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly Hikigai is going to help because he doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know how to take no for an answer, and that's a bit of a problem in itself. That's a bit of a personality issue. But well, we've already deliberated about that. We already know all of his issues.
Yeah.
It's more just at this point watching him get through it, watching him develop and learn from his experiences. Can he take all the moments where he failed with his interpersonal relationships in the past and this time succeed? So, yeah.
I did like the scene overall just because it's like, it once again shows that he's just very casually talking with Iriha. Like there's not really a whole lot of hesitation with like physically speaking with her like is with some other people, like with Yui and Yukino. It's just very casual, and it shows a great amount of growth from his like just non-starting way back at the beginning of the series. Like he can have just these casual conversations now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas,
you even get another Iriha rejection. Just another her insinuating all this reasoning for why he's doing this as him trying to ask her out, and he's just this time they kind of move faster because they both know it's like this is not what this is about. Mm-hmm. She only does it because it's out of habit at this point. But
there's lots of just classic Iriha banter in there, and it was really fun. Like that's one of my favorite parts about her character is just the banter.
Someone else understands me.
He never said she wasn't the best girl. We just know she's not going to win.
Yeah, which is why I never really boarded that ship. You know, as much as I cheered for it, I always knew.
Honestly, I never really considered it a ship because it wasn't really ever a thing. Like she was part of like season 2, and they were off on their own for a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. But it's more like she's like just attached to like a larger ship and is just kind of getting dragged around. It's like, had she not come to the Service Club that one day, this whole situation wouldn't have ever happened.
Yeah.
But once again, that's why we have plots.
Her ship is more like a canoe. Very large canoe that's just paddling behind the boats. Yeah. No, I definitely enjoyed watching Iriha and Hikigai have another banter session because it always feels comfortable when I see them talking to each other. It's almost like when Hikigai talks with Totsuka. You know, even though it's a different dynamic, he is comfortable in that situation.
The other thing is that Iriha is really one of the few people that's really able to kind of lay in to Hachiman and actually just be like, "Yo, we need to think about this." Yeah. Or she's just kind of like, she's more, I guess, maybe not lay into him, but more open with her words than other people might be.
She's direct.
Yeah.
And hell, they need that. They need that so bad. Many characters in the show need her directness. She's so direct. She straight up told Yukino's mom in the last episode that any parent who has an issue with their kids, you know, getting into mischievous stuff at a prom, clearly it's the parents' fault for not disciplining their kids. It's not the fault of the school.
Yeah, no kidding.
It cuts her off, but all three of us, we're just like, yes, there it is. Say it like you mean it.
I also love during this conversation while you and me were watching it, she literally looks at Hikigai and we interpret it as, all right, stop bullshitting and tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She seizes him by the shirt collar.
Yeah.
That shows how serious.
And then she gets an unexpected answer. It's just like, oh, that's not what I was expecting you to say. Okay. Let me just clean that up there for you. Okay. Not sure how to react to this one right now.
I didn't think I'd get that far.
Let's go on to let's go on and see Yukino now.
Yeah, let's go back down the hall.
Also, I just want to say, Iroha called him overprotective again. I really like that. I liked it when she called him overprotective the first time. I liked it again this time because she only needs to say one word to define him as a whole character. And I mean, it captures him very well. I'd never thought of that until this season. So, but yeah, moving on, we go down to the hall and we enter the third and biggest conversation this whole episode, and it's between Yukino and Hikigai. Iroha is there too. Iroha lets Hikigai into the student council room. Yukino is obviously surprised to see him, but at the same time, she's like, all right, well, sit down. I'll make you some tea. And
okay, where the hell is the rest of the student council? I just need to know. Do they exist?
They do. They do.
Like, is this a monarchy?
We saw the other 3 student council members during that arc in second season with Synergy Man.
Oh, yeah. I guess we did.
But that was the only time we ever saw him. We haven't seen him again since, and we're on episode 5. So, like, it's...
I mean, it's really late. Like, I mean, the sun is going down at this point.
I mean, like, high school students stay after school all the time in Japan, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah. Like, every time that Yui asks Hikigai to go home with her together, like walk home together, it's sunset. I've noticed that at least in the latest season, it's always sunset. And my stomach sinks a little bit whenever I see that. I'm like, oh, God. I would hate if that was what I had to do in high school.
I know, right?
So to be there as the sun is rising and then to see the sun setting before you even leave your chair, like...
Oh, you guys didn't go to... It's like, I lived in Alaska. I've experienced this.
Oh, geez. Oh, I'm sorry.
They
I never knew you lived in Alaska.
It's like, yeah, my phone number is an Alaskan number. But yeah, when I lived in Alaska, they shifted the schedule around so kids didn't have to be in school when the sun went down, especially during the winter. But yeah, if you stayed after school too long, the sun would be down by the time you got out at like 3:30.
Yuck.
I guess the closest thing that I've got to this feeling is just leaving work in the winter and just being like, it's dark out. Yeah. And it's cold. I want to go home.
Yeah, it does.
I want to go home.
I hate that feeling. You're at work for the whole entirety, the chunk of the day, the best chunk of the day where the weather's the nicest and it feels the best to be outside. You're indoors. That's one thing I hate about a 9-to-5 job. But yeah, by the way, Trey, what is the extension for Alaska numbers? Does it start with
907?
907? Okay, so everyone, his phone number is 907 8675 309. Sing it with me. 907 8675 309. 8675 309. Please send him all of the Yui pictures you can find online. So then he can give them to me.
Why don't you just give out your own phone number?
No, yours is more fun. I don't want to give out my phone number. Fuck would I want to do that for? Okay. So the first thing that I noticed in that conversation is that Yukino asks Hikigai, do you know, or did you hear? And he says, yeah, I was with Yui when she got the text message. And Yukino is surprised to hear that. I'm not sure where that look on her face came from or what it means. If I were to guess, I'd say knowing that he was with Yui just makes her feel a little jealous. Because that's probably still on her mind as well. She doesn't want to lose to Yui in that game either. Now, she doesn't know that she's won already. She's totally won. But the look on her face, regardless, was interesting. That caught my eye.
Yeah.
And after that, Hikigaya basically asks Yukino and Iroha what their plan is for making the prom happen. They both confirm that they still intend on doing the prom, in spite of the incoming complaints from the PTO, the school, the requests. And they've written up a bunch of different things on a whiteboard, and that's impressive. They've been thinking it through this whole time. Some of their proposed solutions involve a dress code, demanding that there are no mobile uploads of the prom by any of the students attending, and that they hire an official photographer. All of which, according to Yukino, are demands. They were demands that the PTO and the school asked for. So
yeah, this is stuff that will address all of the concerns that were brought up in the previous meeting. However, I would just like to add that this is the 21st century where every kid has a smartphone and a camera, and social media is just everywhere.
Yeah.
This wouldn't work at all.
I can confiscate all their cell phones. It could work.
It is Japanese school, and Japanese students generally pretty honorable about being behaved students. Generally, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Our Japanese audience, please tell us if we're right or wrong.
I would imagine that there would be quite a number that would hold on to their phone if possible.
Yeah, most likely. If my high school in 2012 could not get kids to leave their cell phones at home, and to not post anything that happened at school to social media, if that couldn't happen in 2012, it sure as hell is not happening in 2020.
Yeah.
So, because even back then, I was maybe the first kid in my class to have a smartphone back then. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. So yeah, no, Yukino and Iroha, they are trying to work with the PTO and the school to get the prom happening. But Hikigaya makes a good point when he thinks to himself, the school is intentionally finding faults with intentionally killing the prom. It doesn't matter what kind of demands the school and PTO give them. And it doesn't matter what ways that the student council tries to meet them halfway on that. They're just going to keep finding more complaints about the prom. There's not a lot of logic here. There aren't solid, evident reasons for why the prom shouldn't happen. It's just a bunch of old people saying, oh, we don't like this idea, so don't do it. And there's very little negotiation room with a party like that. And we clearly know this because of how it happened with Yukino's mom last episode. Think of that on just a larger, grander scale with 20 old people instead of one.
Yeah, and the thing that's the strategy that's being put forth here is basically whittling them down mentally, just being demanding perfection at every corner. And if one little thing is out of line, then they don't want to do it. They're basically going to just keep finding ways to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sabotage it?
Poke holes.
Nitpick. They're going to find as many ways that they can nitpick this and force them to continually try and come up with ways of working around that until they just sort of give up on their own, just being it's not worth the time and effort, or they just nitpick so much that they ultimately run out of time to begin with.
There you go. That is also an effective measure. Rob the council of all the planning time, because that is an effective way of getting it to be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, the PTO is trying to raggle-fraggle this prom. And
yeah, pretty much.
It's working.
It's like
it's working, and they only had one small meeting saying, we have a problem here.
That's all it took. Yeah, dude. Japanese parents are evil. I mean, they're normally the villains in shonen manga anyways, so.
It's like they're either never there or they're the monster. It's just how it is.
Usually never there.
Or both.
Which is an interesting conversation all on its own, but that's for another day.
So then what does Hikigaya pitch to Yukino after hearing out her plan and telling her it's not going to work? What does he say to her exactly?
He basically says, like, okay, so here's what I want to do is, like, I'm going to help, but I'm not going to, like, interfere in any way. I'm going to be like a foot soldier for you. You tell me where to go and I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Thus kind of trying to say, hey, you'll still get to be the manager. You're still the one running all of the commands, and it'll be just like ordering Iroha or someone else on the student council to do the work.
Right.
He'll just be there and he'll be helping. Mm-hmm. However, Yukino counters this then that, yes, you'll be here, and then ultimately I'll end up falling back on you, which is the exact thing that I was trying to get away from. It's like she wants to do it on her own, without him specifically being involved, so that way she doesn't fall back on that crutch.
Right.
Because otherwise she's going to feel like she hasn't made the progress that she wants. Mm-hmm. Therein, Hachiman basically kind of comes up with a cheat of a plan.
Right.
After saying that he wants to take responsibility, but then ultimately kind of finally coming out and saying, I want to save you, recalling the memory back from the amusement park. And she kind of understands what he's thinking about and the promise that was made.
Iroha also
he comes up with the idea is like, I'm going to go off and do my own thing anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go off and do my own thing anyway. I will be completely separate from you. Basically kind of giving her just a heads up is like, I'm not going to help you, but I am going to see that this prom gets done one way or another. Mm-hmm. And he treats it as the challenge clear back from season 1 about which of them can do the most service club acts, which of them can be the most helpful.
Each challenges
and they have a showdown. And so this is where they're kind of cheating the whole situation, in my opinion, is like, okay, it's going to make her feel like she's still on her own, but Hachiman's still kind of off doing his own thing, kind of almost as a backup, if not maybe even interference of his own by trying to make things happen in his own way. What he's actually going to do, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
in my opinion, the best thing that you can do is just try and market this thing a whole lot more than what they've done already. Basically, force the situation where the PTO is going to look bad if this gets canceled at this point. That would be like the best thing that you can try and do.
But what would the PTO care about looking bad?
Well, there's also that. I'm not entirely certain how much they care about what the students think about them. And that's kind of the rub.
We haven't seen the PTO yet outside of his mom, so it's hard to gauge. Brought to you by Maxis Coffee. It is an American style prom. One and all, please come. We need lots of support. Free coffee for everybody.
Just considering how much her mother cares about like image and everything, that's kind of why I think that's probably the best thing that they can do. Mm-hmm. But that's probably not what's going to happen. They're going to come up with some sort of scheme or something. At least Hachiman will, and Yukino is going to continue to try and figure out some way to convince the PTO to actually let them go through with this.
Yeah. He's resorting to his usual tactics of, well, I'm not going to help you. I'm going to go against you. I'm going to do my own thing to make this prom happen. And Yukino is surprised at that, but she's like, if you're really serious about it, then fine. We'll do it. The winner will have the loser do whatever the winner wants. Anything. Yeah. The loser has to do one thing, and it can be anything the winner wants. And that is also something that they agreed upon as the prize in the very first episode of the first season. So I'm glad that they remembered that.
It's like this whole conversation, though, Iraha's just sitting there awkwardly. This is a
just like, what is going on?
She immediately acknowledges that this is essentially a love confession between the two.
A lover's quarrel.
Or a lover's quarrel. Yeah, she's like, it's something around
or
that.
A breakup even. Like she's not really sure what's happened here, but it's like something's happened with them, and she's just not quite sure how to place things right now.
It's something personal, and she definitely feels a bit like a fish out of water in that moment. She also is pissed off. Like, she got super pissed off. And when Hikigai tries talking to her during a conversation, she just says, I don't know. Don't talk to me about it. He's like, what? But you brought me here. Nah, in that moment, I think Iraha also acknowledged that she lost to Yukino. Just like Yui lost to Yukino, Iraha is not going to have Hikigaya, quote-unquote, take responsibility.
Oh, he took responsibility, just not the way she wanted to.
Just not her responsibility. I'm going to buy that shirt someday. Totally going to buy it. It's not even a good shirt now that I look at it again. I found that shirt like 3 years ago, but I still want it. Purely for the principle of the matter. It's a great fucking shirt. Yeah, no, she was not happy with him, but he leaves, and then what happens after that?
We go to credits, and after the credits, because for some reason this episode went by stupidly fast.
It really did.
Like,
yeah.
A lot of the main stuff that happened was in the council room with Yukino. That's like the big stuff that happened.
Yeah, But yeah, this episode went by so fast. But we go to the credits, and then after the credits, which is the first time we've done this kind of happened, we get a post credit of Yukino just declaring, "All right, get the council together tomorrow. We're gonna get to work." And as Iraha is packing up, it's like, we should probably go. It's like, no, I'm going to stay here and keep working for a little bit longer, and refuses to put on the glasses that Hikigaya got her for Christmas. And I was pissed. I'm like, you put those glasses on, you're going to hurt your eyes.
Like, what does that solve? What does that do for you? Put the glasses on. They're for your eyes. That doesn't mean you're relying on him. You're relying on the glasses.
But yeah, she's going into overdrive mode because Iraha warns her. It's like, don't overdo it. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. But it's like, oh boy, this is going downhill fast.
And she notices as she's leaving that Yukino was crying. She thinks that Yukino might have been crying, but it was pretty clear she was.
She tried to cover it up by putting eye drops in, but. Yeah. One of those eye drops looked like a tear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Yukino has gone through so much emotional distress in just the past, few days. I can't imagine how she feels right now. She's probably just going to explode at some point. Yeah, I really do feel bad for her. But hey, she got the main character. She won that battle at least, and that isn't that the true battle of this show? Isn't that the true eternal fight of any anime romantic comedy?
But that's not what this show does.
But it's called My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU, Trey. Clearly this is about teen romance. It's always been that way. You just didn't notice.
Sure.
You just didn't see it. That's all there is to it. It totally wasn't shoehorned in. Okay, well, yeah, that was pretty much the whole episode. It went by pretty fast. My impression is, does it feel like we're watching the end of the season already to you guys?
Yeah.
It feels like it to me. I'm like, okay, we already got the big Yui conversation. We got Iroha getting shot down. We had what felt like a pretty monumental conversation between the teacher and Hikigaya, a conversation that summed up their relationship as well. And then we have the Yukino quote-unquote confession. Like, we're just checking off all of these boxes that have been on the list for a while. And we're not even halfway through this season yet. So things are moving fast. I'm still trying to take guesses on when exactly the prom will happen in this season. I don't know what comes after the prom. It's hard to predict, really.
Well, after
Yeah,
prom,
I'm not sure when things are going to happen.
Yeah, the after prom.
I would imagine that I'll be sincerely surprised if prom doesn't start by around episode 8 or 9.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, if we haven't actually started the prom by one of those episodes, then it's just kind of like, huh.
Oh, that's going to be the biggest cock tease of all. We're not going to even get to see the prom. Show's going to end.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Go and read the light novel.
No.
Go play the visual novel. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Yeah, so I was looking at the subreddit for Origairu. I stumbled upon that this past week. And, I was reading about how there are light novel games and there are the actual light novels. I need to look more into it, but there might be a Yui route for the books where he picks her over Yukino. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen some artwork that looks pretty official of Hikigaya and Yui, where Yui has much longer hair for some reason. They look maybe slightly older. I'm not sure. But if there is an alternate route, you better believe your boy is going to be delving into that. That's definitely going to deserve some of my attention.
What's actually going to happen is Hikigaya and Yukino are going to get together in high school, but they're going to break up after college, and that's when Yui swoops in, gets the kill, gets the Hikigaya, and and that's how it ends. The show's going to end with the time skip into college years. It's like, after trying to kill each other too many times, Yukino and Hikigaya realize that they are just not meant to be together. They're just too different or too much the same, and they just end it.
Just don't clan add after story me. That just give me an actual happy ending for all of them, because these kids have suffered through hell and back just to make a friggin' prom happen. I think they've all deserved some very good R&R.
We'll get there eventually.
If there's a Totsuka route, I'll follow that too.
But he's a boy, Andrew.
It doesn't matter. If the penis is small enough, it can fit.
Wait. What? What?
Cat boys, Rem. Cat boys.
Catman, Subaru.
No, Subaru.
Catman.
Okay, well then, any closing thoughts on this episode, boys? Anything we didn't cover, or any general opinions on the episode?
Hikigaya used the word help way too easily.
Yeah. I felt like he didn't really rephrase anything that he normally approached Yukino with. He still kind of said the same gist as usual, only this time after getting rejected again, he said, okay, fine. Screw you, I'm just going to do it my own way.
Screw you, I'll do it myself. We'll do it live.
We'll fix it in post.
I mean, that's what Iroha was kind of worried about. It's just like, it's like I'm trying to think of how I'm going to say this, and it's like, that does not inspire confidence.
No, it does not. Any predictions for what the next episode is going to have, or predictions for the scene that's going to kick off the next episode?
Probably not. Seems pretty cut and dry in this episode. But we'll
probably start seeing some planning on Hachiman's part, because it seemed like he was getting his crew together that he kind of built up during season 2 as well.
Get the side characters together, because we finally need a reason for them to exist.
Yeah, it's time to assemble a crew.
Backstreet's back, all right. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Like, we gotta get a crew together. We gotta heist to pull.
We have to heist the prom. We have to heist the prom into existence.
We gotta heist.
We're not going to steal it. We're going to make it happen. That seems not how a heist works. Doesn't matter.
We're going to
wait a second. Inception. That's the plan, guys. They're gonna run an Inception plan.
They're going to do Inception to Yukino's mom and get her to make the prom happen.
Yep, that's the play. That is the ultimate play right there. Because that's totally with what Hachiman's Chunibyo friend's gonna suggest.
Oscar time. It deserves an Oscar. I like this idea. Make it happen. Let's do it. I'll watch that movie. Yeah, I'm excited to see all the secondary characters come back. I'm excited to see their support, because it always feels like Hikigai's got to do a lot of stuff alone, but I like seeing him work with other people, especially his friends who care about him, but they just don't get as much screen time. It is time to all band together and make something happen. Let's do it. So, I'm personally guessing that the scene to kick off next episode will be the scene with Yukino crying and Iroha leaving the room. Maybe they'll follow Iroha next episode for a little bit. Who knows?
We'll see.
That's just my prediction. Okay. Well, I think that's everything. It was a fast episode. You know, there was a good amount to cover. I feel like episode 4 had more to dissect, though, which is probably why this one felt shorter. Had less punches in the face. So
the episode just paced really quickly. Once again, we were just entranced, and I'm like, is it? We saw the commercial break symbol, and we're like,
but
it's only been 10 minutes.
It's only been like 5 minutes. Why are we seeing this now?
Yeah, so well, we'll see how next episode goes. Hopefully, it'll be lighter. Hopefully,
it seems like we're gonna have a good vibe next episode. There's going to be more people present. Things are going to happen. The talking is the talking about what they're going to do is kind of over now. They're just going to do it.
Synergistic solutions, man. Synergistic solutions. Got this.
Keep your hand movements away from me. That's not the ticket.
It's totally. That's who we still need.
Oh,
She's not going to come back.
Oh,
She's not going to come back. But
we need Kaori.
She's not going to come back. She goes to a different school, so it's just not going to happen. But
that's okay.
We need our hype man.
Yeah, we don't really need her back. Okay, well then, yeah, we'll just wrap this up then. Thanks everybody for taking the time to tune into our podcast today. I'm Andrew.
I'm Trey.
Spencer.
And
I'm Spencer.
What are you doing over there? No, I don't want to know what you're doing over there.
Stuff for the show.
Please check out our previous podcasts. I promise Spencer pays more attention in those. We do this every week where we recap every episode of SNAFU as they come out. So, please follow along with us. Subscribe to us on Twitter at Advent_7. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And let us know in the comments below what you thought of this episode and if there's anything we didn't cover today. Also, let us know in the comments if you want us to start an OnlyFans starring Trey. I promise your valuable money will go towards making even better podcasts in the future and more Trey-themed content.
If you want us to talk about anything else, and no OnlyFans, we're not doing that.
All right. Maybe we'll aim for something a little bit smaller. Okay. Well then, thanks for listening, and we will see you all next time. What is the equivalent of ya hello but in goodbyes?
I don't know.
Yeah, goodbye. I don't know.
Ya goodbye.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Also, what the heck is OnlyFans?
Don't ask, Spencer. If you don't know, don't ask.
Just Google it, man.
I don't think I want to now.
You shouldn't.
I mean, if Trey's part of OnlyFans, you'll definitely want to look it up.
Oh,
Stop
God.
it.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.